So, what is up, guys? This is Nick here from Everything Tech. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be, and welcome to this iPhone 5 versus iPhone 5S comparison video on iOS 10.1. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you would have noticed I did a 10.1 review on the iPhone 5. You could check out that video, card up above, link down below. Same goes for the iPhone 5S. It was a day later. But today I want to put them together, and for the reason that, a lot of people say that these iPhones tend to slow down per update, and I want to test that theory here on iOS 10.1. For example, the iPhone 5S is getting a little bit older now. The iPhone 6 is now an older iPhone that many are thinking about getting. But, the iPhone 5S has been proving to be a pretty strong contender. And even I think the iPhone 5 runs fairly well for being 4 years old. But we're going to see here if, the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 5S has slowed down a bit. Maybe the iPhone 5 is a very close in speed. Let's see, because some people might have an iPhone or might be thinking about getting an older iPhone and pick up the iPhone 5 or the 5S. I know it sounds, to some of you who have the newer devices a little bit silly, but you got to remember, some people out there, they're getting into their first iPhones. They might be younger or whatever, and they just want a cheaper iPhone, and these devices are pretty darn cheap, and the iPhone 5S is now going prepaid for about $150. So I think this is still a bit relevant here, especially if you might be upgrading from an iPhone 5 to a 5S. But I want to begin this test with a boot up test. So I'm going to flick the switch, and both of these guys are going to turn on in 3, 2, 1 here. And you should see the iPhone 5S did show first. I'm gonna pull these lightning ports out now. I need to do that because the power button is broken on my iPhone 5 there. But let's see which one gets there first. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the iPhone 5S here on the right, but we're just gonna have to see which one gets there first. So which one is getting there first? They do take about 40 seconds to a minute to boot up, so just be patient with me. If it takes too long, I will skip through this video, but I think we're almost there on the iPhone 5S. Now, if you have a white iPhone, it does show the white screen. If you have a black iPhone, it does show the black screen, which I do prefer there on the black. I do like the black Apple with the white Apple logo. It's nice and contrasty. But you can see the iPhone 5S has booted up, and let's go ahead and see how much far behind the iPhone 5 was. So I'd say about 10 seconds behind was the iPhone 5, but both are pretty slow on the boot up speed if you want to compare it to a newer iPhone. But let me go ahead and close everything out here, and let's get started with our speed test. Let me turn off that little thing right there, accessibility shortcut. But let's get started with our whole, let's just say let me put on airplane mode. I want to get no more notifications. You can see here, let me go ahead and put on airplane mode here. I don't need to put it there. There's no SIM in that device. So let me go over here and put on the Wi-Fi. And let's just show you that everything is closed out here on both devices. Let's go into calendar in 3, 2, 1. You could see faster on the 5S. Let's come back home. And the accessibility shortcut came back on for some reason. Let's go into calculator here. Missed that one on the iPhone 5. Let's do that one more time. Really shocked I missed that one. Let's go to calculator. And you can see that we did get the iPhone 5S there. Let's go into camera. iPhone 5S by just a bit, but you can see that this 4-year-old iPhone still keeps up pretty well here next to an iPhone 5, keeps up next to the iPhone 5S. I don't know what's going on with the 5S with location there, but it did look like the iPhone 5 did win in weather there. Let's go into clock. iPhone 5S, but only like milliseconds behind is the iPhone 5. Now, we are only testing the system-based apps. I know when you get into the more gaming and things like that, the iPhone 5S will show its 64-bit processing power. But let's go into HomeKit here. And you could see that was quicker there on the 5S. So everything is just a tad bit quicker here, as to be expected on the iPhone 5S. So we did win here on the 5 when it comes to iBook. But let's go into some sub-menus. Let's go into top charts here, and let's see what happens here. Both are on the same Wi-Fi network, so looks like the iPhone 5S is struggling here in iBooks, and you could see the iPhone 5 won there. So actually this iPhone 5 is fairly strong still in terms of the performance. That just goes to show how long a device could last going into the future, and both are seeming to having troubles here on audiobooks, unless I was just totally missing the tab. These are small icons to press here. Let's go home here. We're done with iBooks. Let's go into the App Store here on both of these devices, and let's see what happens. Looks like the 5S by a long shot on this one, and then the 5. But like I say, I mean, if you were picking up an iPhone 5, it's still usable. So let's go into the music application. See which one gets there first. Looks like music will win there on the 5S. Let's go into settings here. And it looks like that was about the same. You guys let me know. Let's go into health application here. And it looked a little bit faster on the 5S, but this is just crazy that this iPhone 5 is still usable in 2016. It's kind of funny that it's 4 years old and it's still usable. I think that just goes to show how well optimized these iPhones can be. And that was pretty close once again. Let's go into Twitter. And I might have tapped that faster on the iPhone 5, but I still think it's going to open quicker on the 5S. Yes, it did. So you can see, even though I tapped it quicker on the iPhone 5, this is where the iPhone 5S starts to show its power, is in these third-party applications. Let's go to eBay. And 5S once again. So you can see, now that we're in eBay, I want to talk about this just a little bit. The reason I still do these videos is because if you go on eBay and you check out, I think a lot of people are buying iPhones like this. If you go to eBay, you type iPhone 5S, type iPhone 5S real quick here. I don't know what's going on with me, my typing there. Let's go to iPhone 5S right there. But you can see, I mean, look at these prices. Well, those 274, that's a bit high, but 64 gig, 269, 16 gig, 264. So right around 164 here. So right around 150 to 200 people are spending to get these iPhone 5Ss. And if you get the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5 is like 129-ish, 100 to 150. So both of these phones are under 300. The iPhone 5 is under 150. So the iPhone 5 is really cheap now. It's like a $100 phone. It's like a budget phone, basically, if you want an iPhone. Let's go into Amazon. And that's another reason why I think this is still a little bit relevant here. Let's go into Amazon here and see which one gets there first. I'm going with the iPhone 5S on this one, but the iPhone 5 said, shut up, Nick. It said, shut up. I still got some power behind my tools. Let's go over here and go home here. Let's go into a gaming here. Temple Run 2 on both. Let's see which one gets there first for Amanji. So it looks like the iPhone 5S pulled ahead there. Let's go home. Halloween edition over here on the iPhone 5. Go ahead and close that out there. Still waiting on the iPhone 5. Let me go ahead and close that out there. I said iPhone 5, that's a 5S. So way ahead here on gaming. So this is really where you're going to be way ahead with the iPhone 5S in terms of gaming. The iPhone 5S destroys the iPhone 5 in the gaming aspect. And I think a lot of us know that. But in terms of just everyday use, if you don't game that much, I mean, you're not going to notice a huge difference between the iPhone 5 and 5S, but I did notice that the iPhone 5 just didn't feel as snappy overall, even though you're seeing in this test that both devices do perform pretty well here. The iPhone 5S seems a little bit more fluid. So what I mean is that you'll notice a hang here more on the iPhone 5 versus the iPhone 5S, and on the 5S you won't notice a hang here and there. The iPhone 5S feels kind of like the newer ones with a slight milliseconds or so slower than the iPhone 6S and those devices. So the iPhone 5S was, I think, the true first powerhouse iPhone for, you know, the modern era. The 4S was one of the huge updates, and I think the 5S was the next huge update. And then I think the 6S series was a huge update. The 7 series, not so much. I think the 8's going to be another big one. We'll have to see about that next year. I know a lot of people say that A10 is so much faster than A9. It may be, but it doesn't seem to show that. I proved that in my iPhone 7 versus SE video. So let's go into begin test here on the iPhone 5S. 14.71 megabytes down on the iPhone 5, 10.19 up. Now, I believe both of these have AC Wi-Fi, so it's not a big deal. I think both are going to be similar in the downloads, but I guess the iPhone 5S is struggling on the Wi-Fi, and that might be why that the iPhone 5S was actually losing some of those tests in this video, was because of the Wi-Fi. But I don't know what's going on with that, but that is not cool. But these are not indicative of your iPhone. These are totally just like my Wi-Fi right now. Maybe the iPhone 5S is having a little bit of troubles catching on to Wi-Fi, but I have to look more into this and see if this is an issue, Wi-Fi issues with 10.1 on the iPhone 5S. If you're having Wi-Fi issues, let me know, because that might be a widespread problem here, because that's a lot different than that right there. Let's go home here, and let's go into Safari on both devices. And let's go into, let's see, what do we want to go into? Let's just, Let's do technobuffalo.com. John Rettinger and boys. Let's go over there, technobuffalo.com. And let's go to technobuffalo.com right here. Technobuffalo.com over here. And let's go to go in 3, 2, go. And you can see, looks like the iPhone 5S pulled ahead, even though it has the slower Wi-Fi speeds according to speedtest.net. The iPhone 5S pulled ahead here, and now the iPhone 5. So both of these devices are not wicked fast. Neither one of them are blazing fast, I don't think. The iPhone 5S is quicker, but once they get loaded up, they're both pretty smooth here. And both are still usable devices here in 2016. So if you wanted a cheap iPhone, both are still very usable. Let's go into Sonata here. Both are very usable devices, and let's see which one gets there first here. Looks like the iPhone 5S won that one, and then the 5. So let's do a little bit of multitasking here on both of these devices, and you can see about the same there in terms of just scrolling through. But let's see if the iPhone 5 has to open anything up again, because it is a slower processor. Let's go to Safari, and you can see both had to reload there. The iPhone 5 was quicker there to reload. Let's go into Temple Run. You could see about the same there. So multitasking is actually quite close, to be honest, here on both devices. Let's see if we got something else in the background that's a third-party application. Let's go to YouTube. Can I find YouTube here? Let me get some YouTube action over here on the iPhone 5S. Come on, let's go. And it looks about the same. So this is so much closer than I thought it would be. So what's the whole conclusion of this video? Both devices are still very functional. I highly wouldn't recommend you get an iPhone 5. But all I'm trying to show here is that if you got an iPhone 5, you've been sticking it out this long, you might want to just save up and get a newer, faster iPhone and just skip the iPhone 5S altogether if you were thinking about spending an extra, $150 or so to just upgrade your iPhone 5 to a cheaper iPhone 5S. If you want to upgrade, go to the SE. It really is a massive upgrade. This is not such a massive upgrade over the 5. It does feel snappier day to day, but this is almost like comparing the 6S to the 7 in my opinion. The iPhone 5 and 5S were a lot closer. Although, if you do have a 5S and you're thinking about upgrading, I would say hold off. Apple is going to probably release a smaller iPhone in 2017 again. If you need one right now, I think the iPhone 5S could get you through one more year. If you need one right now, go with the SE or an iPhone 6S. Skip the 6 series altogether. But that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. If you guys found this helpful in this comparison of the iPhone 5 versus the 5S, whether you're trying to get an iPhone 5, an iPhone 5S, you're comparing these two because you have an old broken down iPhone 5 and you just want to upgrade to an iPhone 5S, please click the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel for more technology videos like this. Like I say, I got iOS 10.1 reviews on both of these devices down below in the description. Let me confirm that before we leave, because I don't want to, be lying to y'all here. So you can see right here, iOS 10.1, iOS 10.1 on both devices. Got reviews on both of them. Check them out. They'll be down below in the description. Have a great day wherever you are. Be sure to be well, and peace. No.